So I believe the credit cards that you have in your life kind of tells you the story of your life, and this is where mine's been. So this is my first ever credit card, but I have no clue what it is. It was opened in May of 2015, and all I really know is that it was a Chase credit card. I think my mom applied this credit card on my behalf or had me as an authorized user, but when I confront her, she doesn't remember and she doesn't even know what I'm talking about. This was my first ever credit card, a credit card that I actually got myself, and it was a PlayStation card through Capital One. Honestly, it's a terrible card, you shouldn't get it. This was the only card they allowed me to have with just a basic credit score at 18 years old. I tried applying for different credit cards, especially the Best Buy credit card because I was working at Best Buy at the time, could not get approved. In August of 2016, my second ever credit card, the PayPal credit card, except this isn't your normal PayPal credit card. This was a credit card that didn't physically exist, and it was only there to kind of buy now, pay later. At the time, I was just not financially stable, didn't have enough income for the amount of purchases that I needed, especially for college. And this PayPal credit card allowed me to, for any purchase that was over $100, I could finance for 6 months. It didn't earn any multipliers, but I never paid interest on that card. Every 6 months, I was able to pay it off. And then in October of 2016, I was finally able to rent an apartment that I could actually hook up a washer and dryer to, and that's why I got the JCPenney's credit card. I didn't really have that much income at the time, and I wanted to finance a washer and dryer as using coin laundry tended to be more expensive in the long run. In April of 2017, I noticed that I started shopping on Amazon a lot, so I decided to get the Amazon Synchrony credit card, and this was never a physical credit card that you could have. I believe it only gave back 5% on Amazon, and you could finance some Amazon purchases on that. So this card never existed. This was my first ever business credit card. The Capital One Spark card opened in October of 2017. And at the time, I kind of felt like I wanted to open a business. I opened an LLC. It was selling handmade jewelry. Didn't do that well, but I have the credit card from it. Also in paper. In trash. March of 2018, still in the beginner phase of my credit card history, I got the Discover It card. And at the time, it was just something that I was approved for, and my college really pushed Discover. Discover was really at the colleges, which is also kind of funny because at my college, in the cafeteria, they didn't take Discover cards. And I'm like, what the heck? But then on April 7th in 2018, I got my real big boy credit card, the Chase Freedom Unlimited. And I just really wanted this card. I recently got a Chase checking account, so I'm like, hey, let me check out some of their credit cards. And this one was a pretty good one. It's a good catch-all card, 1.5% back on everything. It was a no-brainer, but I still didn't know how powerful these Chase points could really be. Currently, I still have it open, and it does have a credit limit of $5,000 just so I can get those extra benefits, the Visa signature benefits compared to the regular Visa card. Then of course, after the Freedom Unlimited, I had to get its baby brother, the Freedom. Overall, this card has been very useful for me, especially when it comes around the holidays. They haven't been doing it that much, but the PayPal, the Amazon are very useful. And then this is the old design, but then here's a new one where there's no card numbers in the front of it. Then in July of 2018, I was still kind of naive. I was still in college, and I was buying these window laptops, and they just weren't working out for me. They're multiple years old. I got them as soon as I went into college, and I needed to update to something new. But I didn't have the finances at the time, so I'm like, all right, let's apply for the Barclays Apple credit card. And it's just a terrible decision. It had no point value, no nothing. You didn't get anything back other than financing for one time. And after I paid off all the purchases on this card, I started getting a bunch of fraud charges. So ultimately, I decided to cancel it. It wasn't worth it. And it kind of left me a bad taste in my mouth for Barclays. Didn't keep the card because I didn't know better at then. So, trash. Then in September of 2018, I finally got my hands on the Best Buy credit card. And it was a credit card that kind of, hey, got me interested in credit cards. I had to sell it because I used to work at Best Buy. Sold it to a couple customers and said, hey, you can get a lot back. And a lot of people really liked it, especially he got the Citi version of the card. But it was a pretty good financing card. No longer really need it because you can only use your rewards at Best Buy. So it isn't worth it to me anymore. I do currently still have it open and it just kind of sits there. And then in January of 2019, I got the Capital One Platinum card. Now, this is a terrible card, but at the time, I didn't really know better. I had really high utilization when I was younger, and this was the only credit card that I was approved for at that time. Eventually, I did upgrade it to the Quicksilver card, but I didn't really find that much benefit. It is definitely better than the Platinum card, not the Platinum card, but the Capital One Platinum card, and eventually it became of this design. It has a credit limit of only about like $1,500. It used to start off with a credit limit of $500, but I don't really use it. Honestly, it has a negative balance of $22, and it's probably going to stay that way. In March of 2019, I finally got the Citi Double Cash, and I really like this card. It's just simple. When you make a purchase, you get 1%. When you pay off that purchase, you get 1%. So it's a pretty easy card. Ultimately, I decided to cancel it because when I was dealing with Citi's customer service at a fraud charge, it took 2 months to resolve that fraud charge, and I just wasn't having it. Now, this is where the game started changing. In August of 2019, the Apple Card released, and I was probably one of the first ones to get it. A lot of people like to trash on this card, and for good reason. However, this was the changing point for me because first, this card is really nice, sounds really nice, feels really nice. They don't really want you to use it physically, but that's okay. But how they set up the Apple Card kind of got me and going like, hey, I can actually earn cash back for my purchases, and that stuff starts stacking up. I kind of like this credit card game. And that's why I think this card is a really good gateway card to get you kind of used to the light side, the good side of credit cards. In September of 2019, I got the Ikea credit card, and it was just, I was starting my life right after college, going and moving into Washington, D.C., and of course, you need furniture, you need a bed, maybe a coffee table, and everything was financed with this Ikea credit card. Doesn't give you any multipliers, but does give you a long time financing depending on how much money you spend at Ikea. So it definitely came in pretty clutch, especially right after college. And then I got the Verizon card. I got this card in July of 2020, and it's an awesome card because you get 4% back on groceries and gas, along with 2% back on your Verizon bill, alongside getting the same discounts whether you were using for a checking account for your Verizon bill. However, I have stopped using it because I just changed my phone service from Verizon to Visible, just because Verizon has been getting so much more expensive over the years. Then in August of 2020, things started changing. I started watching a lot more credit card YouTubers, a lot of your favorites like Asebi, Waller Wallet, Graham Stephan, and I realized, hey, I could maybe maximize some points. I could start traveling, at least start gathering traveling, and then I got the Chase Sapphire Preferred with that elevated bonus at the time. This is what it used to look like before, and then this is what it looks like now. Honestly, not my favorite card to have, but it is a really cheap way to transfer out your Chase points for even more value. Now, you may laugh at me for this card, but I got the Starbucks credit card in September of 2020. The reasoning is because my wife was going to Starbucks more often, and having this card kind of elevated the stars that you had, their kind of currency system. And another big benefit is even though this card had a $50 annual fee, it gave out drinks like fairly often, almost every single month, and we had so many stars by the end of the year. We basically just gave out cups for Christmas, and a lot of people really loved that. Especially they had a partnership before Stanley was popular at the time, Stanley and Starbucks. Now I think those cups can sell for quite a bit of money. Now, September of 2020 was when I was still starting to get used to gaming the credit card system. And this was the first ever rumor that I was excited and heard about when it came to credit cards, the Chase Freedom Flex. And at the time, it was pretty amazing. It gave you 3% back on dining purchases while also being similar or the same as the Freedom. And it was just another card because I'm an avid collector or addict, if you would, of credit cards, and especially just having all different types of Freedom cards. I kind of wanted one, and at the time, that's what I did. But then on May 6th of 2021, I decided to up my grocery game a little bit. So I decided to get the Blue Cash Preferred, but I wasn't really hitting the spending required to offset that annual fee. So I decided to downgrade to the Blue Cash Everyday, which came in this clear color, but then they upgraded that design into what we know nowadays. And then even further from that, I changed it into this epoxy clear credit card that you can see completely behind, and hopefully one day we'll get this into a glass credit card. And then in June of 2021, I finally got approved for the Amazon card. I've been trying to apply for the actual Chase Amazon card for the longest time, but I've never been able to get approved until then. And it was during the time where Amazon was thinking about leaving Chase. And funny enough, I was actually approved for this card when I was over 524, maybe like 724. So finally I got a physical Amazon card. Not that you really need it, but I was shopping at Whole Foods quite a bit because I was living in the DC area and it was just easier to get into Whole Foods for a grocery store, just walkable. And at the time, it gave me a fairly generous credit limit of $13,000 and I still have it open today. And then in June of 2021, I finally got it. The card that everyone kind of dreams of. The American Express Platinum card. It's just a really nice metal card. They had pretty good credits that worked for me at the time when I was living in Washington, D.C. So it was kind of a no-brainer. But later on, after about 2 years, I did cancel this card for kind of the same but better kind of card. Then finally, in July of 2021, there was finally an elevated offer for the Delta Gold card. And I'm going to be completely honest, just got it for the sub. And after meeting that spend, after the year, just decided to cancel the card. December of 2021, we don't talk about that. Pretty big mistake. I don't know what was going on. Then in December of 2021, I got caught up in the hype. There was going around about this X1 card and can give you such a high credit limit. And it did give me a really high credit limit. It gave me a credit limit of $21,000, but it just wasn't worth it. Like, just redeeming the points was just a pain. The multipliers, all very confusing, wasn't worth it in the end, so I didn't use this card anymore. However, they have canceled it and I didn't really notice. On February 1st, I got the Savor Card and I just really wanted a card that was really good for just entertainment spend, groceries, and dining spend. Just an all good all-rounder card. And especially a lot of people during the time were really talking about this dual, two-card setup. For this credit card, it had a credit limit of $15,000, now reduced to $10,000. Currently, I still have it open. It's a pretty good card. By now, I was in the thick of it, and I really love points, and one of the really hyped up cards during the time of March of 2022 was the Bilt card. I basically got this card as soon as Bilt announced their partnership with Wells Fargo when they started opening the applications to the public. But when this card was first issued to me, it was through Evolve Bank. Then in April of 2022, I finally got my own American Express Gold card. I was using my wife's for a good amount of time, but I thought, hey, let's try to get another bonus and get the American Express Gold card. We were still using groceries. We were still going to restaurants, so it was a really good card to have. But that annual fee is a killer, and those Uber credits just so hard to use. The Curve card. Now, this was a controversial card. I opened it back in May of 2022, and I really saw the potential value of this card. Plus, also having just one card, but being able to have many cards physically on you was amazing. And then, of course, it changed into this metal card, which I love. And this kickstarted a bunch of different methods that you can use to maximize your credit card multipliers. And one of the things got me in serious trouble on my YouTube channel. But unfortunately, they decided to close it down within the United States. And now the only thing that I have to show for it is this plaque given to me by my best friend, Anthony Venture. But then on September 12th, I got the Costco credit card. And for this credit card, it had really good multipliers. I really love the card. You get so much back on EV charging, gas, just overall a good card if you're a Costco member. I really thought that. But the issue is that you can only redeem your points a year out. So I don't really use this card that much. It has a $6,000 credit limit. I still have it currently open. Yeah, it doesn't really get too much use. And then in December of 2022, I just wanted a MR earning card that I could hold without having an annual fee. If I ever decide to cancel my American Express Gold card, my American Express Platinum card, easy catch-all card to have, not really any downsides. Now it's June of 2023, and you know how I said that I canceled the American Express Platinum card? I just replaced it with the Charles Schwab version, which gave out a better cash rate if I decided to get cash for some reason. But unfortunately, it still didn't work with my lifestyle, especially moving out of the city, so I decided to ultimately cancel it altogether. Then no other than in August of 2023, the American Airlines Aviator Card, which is only really good for one purchase. I wanted this card for a long time, but finally was approved on September of 2023, the US Bank Cash Plus card. And especially because I was living outside of the city and used to the utilities could be bundled into rent, but that was no longer the case for some reason at the apartment that I was living at the time. And what better way to capitalize on utilities than the US Bank Cash Plus, which used to look like this, now looks like that. Sometimes it doesn't pay to be a beta tester, one of the early ones to get a credit card, because in July of 2024, I had to reapply for the Bilt card because they were forcing us all off of Evolve Bank into Wells Fargo. And now they're going to force us off of Wells Fargo next year, starting in February 7th, 2026, to the cardless Bilt card. And when I applied for this Wells Fargo card, I actually got a lower credit limit than what I previously had. It's not that bad. It was a $1,000 less. I have a credit limit on the Wells Fargo one of $5,000. August 3rd of 2024, this is the Venture X. And the Venture X, you know, especially when I was living further out from the city, there wasn't amazing ways to use the credits, and I was just kind of getting sick of it. And I know a lot of people love the Venture X card for just the simplicity of it. So I decided to get one on my own, but unfortunately, I still didn't think it was worth it. So I downgraded recently to the Venture One. Overall, it was a fine card. I just didn't see the value of it. Then in April of 2025, I probably applied for one of my favorite credit cards, the US Bank Atlitude Connect, and this card has so many extra benefits, and all for a $0 annual fee. The multipliers are really good. You got 4x on EV and gas. You get 4 priority passes, and those 4 priority passes do include priority pass restaurants. It's a pretty insane card. Even TSA pre-check is included on this card. It's a really awesome card. In June of 2025, the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Now this, I used to have the Chase Sapphire Reserve because I at one time upgraded my Chase Sapphire Preferred to the Chase Sapphire Reserve. However, that just didn't work out for me anymore. Didn't really need it. But then that refresh came out, and I tried to apply for it. Didn't get approved, but my wife was able to be accepted for it, and this is the card we have, and we use it quite a bit. The credits, though, can be a little bit annoying, and I'm kind of thinking about canceling this card. Excuse you. Then recently, I got the American Airlines Platinum Select, and I just really wanted some more American Airlines points. I was planning a trip to Vancouver, and I just needed some points at the moment. There was a really good offer of 75,000 points for $3,000 worth of spend, only next month later to offer a higher bonus with even less spend. So sometimes you can't win them all. Now maybe you're asking yourself, how do I manage all those different types of credit cards? And honestly, I just once a month kind of go through them and make sure that everything's paid off, everything's good, there are no fraud charges. But also one strategy I do is a lot of times I cancel the cards that I don't really find that much value, I don't use that much, and they tend to be from different banks. Therefore, if they're all within the same bank, like they're all Chase cards, then I don't really have to worry too much about managing them because it's all in one app. And each quarter I kind of predict and kind of know, like, hey, what's going to be going on that quarter? Am I going to do some international travel, some domestic travel? Am I just really going to stay at home? Are we going to be buying furniture? And then, you know, those are the what's in my wallet videos. Overall, it's basically worked out, but I understand that not everyone is like me, so definitely check out some apps like Card Pointers. I've been using it a little bit more often, trying to get my feet wet, and maybe it is easier. I know one feature that I really like from there is activating all the Amex offers and Chase offers, because there's been so many times, not that many times, but quite a bit, where I've gone to Petco and then I saw on my Chase Freedom Unlimited or Chase Freedom where there was a Petco coupon and I forgot to activate it and I didn't get the bonus. So admittedly, I do mess up sometimes. And my outlook on my future setup is I've been kind of trying to want to condense all my credit cards, all the high annual fee cards that I can't find a good use for the credits, especially in the area that I live in. You know, of course, everyone's going to be different. That Chase Sapphire Reserve dining credit, impossible for me to use unless I drive 2 to 3 hours away or travel. And so for me, it's more of a travel credit. But for a lot of y'all that live in the city, it's an easy dining credit. You don't really have to worry about it. It's maybe places that you've been already dining to. I do want to get a little bit more into hotel cards. Those annual certificates I find really, really valuable, especially for the low annual fees that these cards have. There's just a lot of benefit in hotel cards, and for some reason, I just haven't gone into it. But yeah, that's the story of my credit card journey. I really hope you enjoyed this one, and I'll see you later.